I'm going to go through with you the same problems that are on the purplemath.com website, but I thought it might be helpful for you to hear them also. We're going to be talking about solving quadratic equations by factoring, first of all. Remember, a quadratic equation is the kind where the degree is 2. So this first equation is quadratic because if you FOILed this, you would have x times x, which is x squared. Okay, but this one is already pretty much done for us. We just have to take it one step farther. Think about this. When you have two things being multiplied together, when will you get 0? Well, we'll get 0 when one of them is 0. So if x minus 3 equals 0, or if x minus 4 equals 0, then our product up here will be 0. In other words, if x equals 3, or if x equals 4, we will have 0 in this problem. So you can see if you plug 3 in for x, you would get 3 minus 3 is 0, times 3 minus 4, well, it doesn't even really matter what that is, because if you have 0 here, 0 times anything is 0. Likewise, if you plug in 4 for x, we get 4 minus 4 is 0, times 4 minus 3 is 1, 0 times 1 is 0. So these are our two solutions. Well, that's nice because that problem has already been factored for us. The first week of Jumpstart we spent practicing factoring. So how do we factor this equation right here for the second example? Well, we look for factors of 6 that add up to 5 because we've already checked that there's no greatest common factor. So since there's no greatest common factor, we're just going to look for factors of 6 that add up to 5. And that would be 2 and 3. So we factor it, x plus 2 times x plus 3, and then we set each factor equal to 0. So we write x plus 2 equals 0, or x plus 3 equals 0, which means that our solutions are x equals negative 2, or x equals negative 3. Okay, moving down to here. Solve. Well, how is this one different from the one above it? This one's different because it's not set equal to 0. You have to make your equation equal to 0 before you factor. So you have to, let me repeat that, make the equation equal to 0 first. Very, very, very important. So how do I do that here? I'm going to move the 2x over to the left side. So I have x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Now it's a problem just like the one above it. We look for a greatest common factor. There isn't one. So then we look for factors of 3 that add up to negative 2. And that would be negative 3 and positive 1. And then we set each factor equal to 0. X minus 3 equals 0. X plus 1 equals 0. So x equals 3 is one of our answers. And x equals negative 1 is one of our answers. When you get to pre-calculus, you'll learn that whatever the degree of your equation is how many answers you have. So since we have a second degree equation, x squared, we have 2 solutions. Okay, let's look at this one. How is this one different from the ones above? Well, first of all, the left side is factored, but the right side is not 0. Remember this statement up here. You've got to make the equation equal to 0 before you can factor it. So even though this is factored, we're not ready to start because we cannot set x plus 2 equal to 12 and x plus 3 equal to 12 and get our answers. If you don't believe me, try it and then plug your answers back in and see that they won't work. So what do we have to do first? We have to make the equation equal to 0, just like above. So I have to factor and simplify the left side. X squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 12. And then I subtract 12 from each side, and I get x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. Be careful here when you factor. You're going to have plus 6 and minus 1, not 2 and 3, because we need a negative 6 here. So these signs have to be opposite. So now I set each factor equal to 0, and I solve. X plus 6 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0, x equals negative 6, and x equals 1. 2 answers, second degree equation. Okay, got a couple more here to solve. This one, is this ready to go? Yes, because it's equal to 0. So all I have to do is set each factor equal to 0. What are the factors here? The factors are x and x plus 5. So I write x equals 0, x equals 0, and x plus 5 equals 0. So that one's done. This one just takes one step, and now this one's done. Second degree equation, two solutions. Here's the next one, x squared minus 5x equals 0. Is this ready to go? Yep, it's equal to 0, so I just factor. This has the greatest common factor of x, so I get rid of that, pull it out to the front. And now this is almost exactly like the one above it. You set each factor equal to 0 and solve. This one's done, and this one just gives us x equals 5. Last problem, x squared minus 4 equals 0. We didn't practice any of these too much when we were factoring. We need to. This is called a difference of squares because it's a difference right here. And what are we taking the difference of? What's x squared and 4? They are squares. So this is why it's called a difference of squares. How do I factor a difference of squares? Very easy. X minus 2, x plus 2. Now, why did I factor it? Because the equation was equal to 0. If it wasn't equal to 0, I couldn't do that right off the bat. But it was equal to 0, so I factored it. X minus 2, x plus 2. So x minus 2 equals 0. X plus 2 equals 0. And my two solutions are x equals 2 and x equals negative 2. We're going to practice these this week in Jumpstart, and you also need to make sure you read the rest of the Purple Math website, purplemath.com, search on quadratic equations, and read the first 3 pages. See you Monday.